खुदा में रज़वी हो।
Almighty Allah, by His divine grace and by His mercy, has placed man on this earth. And the first of men is our father Hazrat Adam ala Nabina alayhi salatu wasalam. And ever since then, this earth has been populated by mankind. And amongst men, amongst the humans, Allah Almighty granted the greatest and the most exalted status to those who obeyed the command which Allah sent through His Nabis. This has been in every era, in every zamana. And then came the Khairul Qurun, the greatest of all times, the most exalted zamana and the most exalted era of every era, and that being the era and the zamana of the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And in every era, especially from the era of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Almighty Allah granted a special excellence to those amongst the believers who strive to acquire the knowledge of the deen of Allah. Those who strive to acquire the knowledge of Allah's deen have been given a special excellence in the ummah of the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. This ilm, this knowledge of deen is so precious and so valuable that when a sincere seeker walks the path of knowledge, then the angels, the malaika, lay down their wings for him to walk on. Malaika lay down their wings for him to walk on when he strives and makes an intention to attain ilm al-deen. This is a great honor. This is a great honor which Allah has given. And amongst the people of knowledge, Allah has given a special excellence to those who reached heights in knowledge by the divine grace of Almighty Allah. You look at the companions of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and you will find that their knowledge, their ilm, their taqwa was second to none. After the Anbiya Ikram alayhi salatu wassalam, you could see this glow and the manifestation of the knowledge of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam flowing in the companions of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we know that the Anbiya Ikram alayhi salatu wassalam do not leave any inheritance. They do not leave behind any worldly inheritance, but they leave behind one thing, and that is the knowledge. And the inheritors to that knowledge are the ulama deen, the ulama haq. We are not talking about those who claim to have knowledge and claim to have got, but yet they act contrary to that for the sake of the dunya, or those who are bad mazhabs, etc. Now, the reason that I am discussing this very briefly today is that today I want to pay tribute to a very great personality, a personality who was with us a few weeks back. Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabeer, Hazrat Allama Mufti Afthab Qaadiri Amjadi Maddazillahun Noorani, who turns 93 years old today on the 2nd of Shawwal. And I thought it is only befitting that we dedicate the Jummah today to him and to his service, a personality who has been teaching the Bukhari Sharif for more than half a century. Has been teaching. One is reading and one is teaching the Bukhari of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam's ahadith. He has been teaching it for more than half a century. Actually, more than 70 years have been gone, him teaching the Bukhari Sharif. And I was looking at a hadith of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is in Piety. There is a hadith that is reported in Piety that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and before I say this, remember that the grandest status amongst the people of knowledge is given to a faqih. Faqih, Allah says, it is in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that when Allah wills to send His special mercy and blessing upon somebody, He makes him a faqih. I'm being brief. He makes him a jurist, a doctor of Islamic law in the real sense, not just by degree, in the real sense. And Huzoor Muhad'dith Kabeer has been regarded as the faqih azam of this time, one of the greatest faqihs of this time. But when I read this hadith that is in Bayhaqi, it made me think how fortunate we are that even in this time, Allah has given us the opportunity to see a personality, to sit with a personality, to take knowledge from a personality like Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabeer. The beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will raise that person as a faqih. This man is already a faqih. But Allah will raise that person as a faqih who learns or memorizes 40 hadith pertaining to the deen of my ummah. That person who memorizes or learns how many hadith? Memorizes 40 hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that person who memorizes 40 hadith of my deen, Allah will raise him on the day of Qiyamah amongst the fuqaha as a faqih. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I shall be his intercessor and I will be a witness over him. The person who learned 40 hadith. It made me think that we're talking about a man who learned 40 hadith in the hadith. Rasulullah Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man learns, sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, 40 hadith. This is his maqam, that he will be risen amongst the faqih, amongst the fuqaha, and I will intercede for him, and I will be his witness on that day. And I thought, this muhaddith, 40 hadith he learns, he will get this maqam. And the great muhaddith, Huzoor Muhad'dith Kabeer, has been blessed with knowledge of more than 60,000 hadith. More than 60,000 hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And is already the greatest faqih of this time. How will he be risen in the court of Almighty Allah? It makes you think. It makes you value and appreciate those who have this kind of knowledge. You know, knowledge is not something that you attain and keep to yourself. One of the greatest misers is a man who has knowledge and does not impart that knowledge. But at the same time, great value is given to those who teach that knowledge. That is why we have been taught, and it is in many narrations, that do not teach those who are unworthy. Do not teach those who are unworthy, because they will use that knowledge to fight against the men of knowledge. We have been taught this. Teach only those who are worthy, and we see it today. Okay? It has been mentioned in the Hadith Sharif, and while talking about the maqam and the excellence of the personality who we are paying tribute to, Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabeer, I saw this beautiful narration again. Because this personality is imparting knowledge for more than 70, 80 years. From a very young age, from the age of 14, 15, imparting knowledge. And before that even. And then you get those, and they strive for knowledge. Today, even us, we find it difficult to encourage our children to gain ilm din. Whether it is to make your child a hafiz or an alim, or give him the basic knowledge. How much of time do we spend and how much of money do we spend teaching our children everything else in the world? How much of time in 24 hours do we spend trying to encourage our children to become this, and this? And how many times do we try to tell our child the importance of becoming a hafiz of Quran, the importance of becoming an alim, the importance of learning how to read one dua at least. Sometimes we don't even teach our children to read a basic dua. When you die and go from the world, how will they pray for you? How will they raise their hands and make dua for you? It has been mentioned in the hadith of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the most disappointed person, the most regretful person on the day of Qiyamah will be the one who had the opportunity in this dunya to acquire the knowledge of deen, but he did not acquire it. That person who had the chance to learn ilm deen and he didn't learn it, he will be the one amongst the most disappointed people on the day of Qiyamah. And it has been mentioned that the other person who will be in the same disappointed state will be that person who acquired knowledge. Another person who will be regretful on the day of Qiyamah and in a disappointed state will be that person who acquired knowledge, but neither did others hear it from him, nor did they benefit from it, nor did he manage to attain any benefit from his own knowledge. In other words, neither did he teach it to anybody, nor did anybody come to learn it from him, nor did he manage to benefit from his own knowledge. What it means, he didn't practice upon the knowledge that he had. He just learnt it for the sake of learning. Hazrat Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu once asked Hazrat Ka'b Ahbar radiallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu asked Hazrat Ka'b Ahbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, tell me about the people of knowledge. Tell me about the real people of knowledge. Asal alim. Tell me about the true people of knowledge. He said, they are those who have knowledge and practice in accordance with their knowledge. They are those who have knowledge and their amal, their actions are in accordance with their knowledge. And then Hazrat Umar asked, what has caused knowledge to be taken away from the hearts of the ulama? What has caused knowledge to be taken away from the hearts of the ulama? Kabeer Qibla said, greed. Greed took the knowledge away from their hearts. It takes it away. When you look at personalities like Huzoor Sayyidi Sharia and Huzoor Muhad'dith Kabeer, and you look at the Al-Qaadiri before that, they never ran behind the dunya. They were firm in their deen and the dunya ran behind them. That was the difference. Sarkar Ghaus Azam didn't run behind the wealth of the dunya. The wealth of the dunya was kissing his feet. Sarkar Khaja Gharibun Nawaz didn't run behind anything in the dunya. The dunya ran behind him. He commanded his disciples, put my pot in the entire lake, and the Anna Sagar was inside it. The dunya were slaves of them because they were not slaves of the dunya. They didn't have this knowledge and this ilm because of the dunya. This is something very important to understand. It is in the Hadith of Mubarakah. And this hadith is in Ibn Majah. That indeed there shall be those in my ummah who will learn the Quran and they will say, we will go to the wealthy leaders and acquire the worldly possessions from them. And we will safeguard our deen from them. But it comes in the hadith, they will not be able to. They will not be able to, because they went to those wealthy leaders for the sake of dunya. And they used their deen as a bargaining chip. It is said that they will not be able to safeguard the iman. Even though they say we will be able to safeguard our deen, they will not be able to safeguard it. And then it came in the hadith sharif, just like one cannot acquire anything from a thorny tree except its thorns, similarly one cannot acquire anything from wealthy leaders except for error. This has a message for the ulama deen that was given. And if you look at this in Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabeer, the personality that we are paying tribute to, that personality concerning whom Huzoor Hujjatul Islam, the elder son of Imam Ahl Sunnat radiallahu anh, said to him as a child, he saw with his eyes Huzoor Hujjatul Islam. He was blessed with being touched by Huzoor Hujjatul Islam on his Sar Mubarak when he was a child. When Huzoor Hujjatul Islam saw Huzoor Muhad'dith Kabeer, he said, you should study Ilm-e-Deen. When he was a little boy, you should study Ilm-e-Deen. And I made dua for you that when you study, you will be very successful. Why are you saying this at 93 years, that he has such a memory that he quotes hadith upon hadith? He's able to give the laws of fiqh at this age without any difficulty. It is the dua of the awliya like Huzoor Hujjatul Islam radiallahu anh. When he was born, his father, Huzoor Sadr Sharia, Muhad'dith Kabeer's father, Huzoor Sadr Sharia, is the biggest Khalifa of Ala Hazrat. He is amongst the Ajillah Khalifa of Ala Hazrat radiallahu anh. The author of Bahar-e Shariat, who wrote Bahar-e Shariat in 17 volumes. That Huzoor Sadr Sharia, when the son of his was born, he said, Inshallah, this son of mine will be a very great alim in the future. Today we are seeing it. Huzoor Mufti Azam Hind radiallahu anh, his murshid, and the second son of Ala Hazrat, Azimul Barakat radiallahu anh, under whom Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabeer learnt and studied and practiced in the art of writing fatwa. He said that amongst the sons of Sadr Sharia, most I like Ziaul Mustafa. Most. Huzoor Muhad'dith Azam Pakistan, Allama Sardar Ahmad Rahmatullah Ta'ala alayh. He said when he was still young, he said that this respected Ziaul Mustafa Sahib is an intelligent personality. Huzoor Hafiz Millat, his Ustad, Muhaddith Kabir is Ustad. What did he say? What did the Ustad say about the student? He said, the amount of pleasure that I get from teaching the special sciences of knowledge to Zia al-Mustafa, I would not get in teaching 100 students. Subhanallah. I would not get in teaching 100 students. And Huzoor Mujahid Millat, Huzoor Mujahid Millat radiallahu anhu, one of the greatest imams of his zamana, he says, whatever khilafat etc. Huzoor Sadr Sharia bestowed upon me, I am handing over all of this to his son Zia al-Mustafa. This is the maqam and the fazilat. And Huzoor Sayyidi Taj Sharia, Rahbar Tariqat, used to always say that Allama Zia al-Mustafa Sahab in this time is not one man himself. He is the commander-in-chief of Maslak-e Ala Hazrat. He is the personality who is steadfast on the Maslak-e Ala Hazrat and who will always remain steadfast on Maslak-e Ala Hazrat. This is the word of Huzoor Taj Sharia. And he said, Muhaddith Kabir is not a single person, but it is the name of an entire assembly. It is the name of an entire movement. At 93 years old today, Huzoor Muhaddith Kabir is traveling the length and the breadth of the dunya to spread what is haqq, to say what is haqq. People at his age today are on their bed. They are not able to walk, many people, even less than his age. Even at our age, we're suffering with this illness and this problem and that problem. But this is the Ruhani Taqat. This is spiritual strength. And the dua of the pious, always remember, and I end with this. When it comes to knowledge and when it comes to knowledge of deen, keep in mind that somebody can cook the best meal. Let's say Eid was now, yesterday. They cooked the best biryani in the house without comparison. And they put it in the most beautiful tray. And it was presented to you on the most beautiful eating mat, with all lovely things set around it. And you were given the most beautiful plate to put it in. And it was cooked by somebody the most beloved to you. And you put it in your plate, and you took the first bite and you said, what has gone wrong? The plate is looking very nice. The tray is smart. Looking at the presentation of the food was 5-star. But there's no salt. But there's no salt in the food. How will you get the taste? Will you enjoy that food? You will not enjoy it. Likewise, without comparison, having knowledge is one thing, but not having the connection to the pious servants of Allah, and not humbling yourself in front of the pious servants of Allah, and not taking their fuyuz and barakat is like food without salt. That knowledge will be there will be no taste in it. There will be no pleasure in it. If you want true knowledge, attain it from the feet of the pious. Don't take knowledge from those who are useless when it comes to piety. Those who compromise Allah's deen. And the example of that is Huzoor Muhaddith Kabir, who always took knowledge from the feet of the pious servants of Almighty Allah. That is why you see the barakat of that knowledge continuing today. Allah keep us with this jazba of attaining knowledge of deen. May we continue learning. May we never think that we have enough. Like in the dunya, we think when we have money, when you have 100,000, you think, I got enough. No, you won't. I want more. When you have 500,000, you still think I don't have enough. When you have 1 million, you still think you don't have enough. When you have 10 million, you still think you don't have enough. That is why the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, nothing will fill the stomach of Bani Adam except the sand of his grave. Nothing will fill it. But knowledge, you learn one thing and you think I got enough. No, don't do that. Continue striving. But take it from those who have pure knowledge. Those who have attained knowledge from the feet of the pious, that knowledge will be beneficial to you. Learn from personalities like Huzoor Sayyidi Muhad'dith Kabir. Whenever they come, Hazrat has come a few weeks ago, he has left. We don't know if we'll get this opportunity again. He's 93 years old. And that's why we all tell people, keep your heart attached to the pious. Keep your heart attached to the pious. Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. I read this ayat almost every Jummah. Some days I don't. And the reason I do that is because Huzoor Muhaddith Kabir, Huzoor Taj Sharia will start his lecture almost every time with this ayah. Why? To teach you that, oh, you believe, fear Allah and keep yourself attached to the pious. Because that fear of Allah will stay with you as long as you are attached to the pious servants of Almighty Allah. So keep this in our hearts, keep this in our mind. Allah bless us all, keep us all firm on His deen. Allah grant us the jazba for knowledge. Allah grant our children the enthusiasm for deen. Allah Ta'ala keep us firm with Iman and let us leave this world with Iman.